Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Emer McKeown. Today's top stories. The mother of a boy shot by a pellet gun in Carrickfergus last week says he's mentally traumatised after the incident. The Social Democrats have cancelled a planned meeting with Fine Gael over game playing. The local authority in Waterford is banning all single-use plastics from council buildings and events. And in sport, a big blow for England as Mako Vunipola has been ruled out of the Six Nations clash with Ireland. The mother of a boy shot by a pellet gun in Carrickfergus last Friday says he's mentally traumatised after the incident. The 11-year-old boy was walking home from school with two girls when they were shot at. He was hit on the temple and his mobile phone shattered, while one of the girls was hit on the ear. Waterford Gardaí say they've seized two pellet guns from two young boys. Speaking to Damien Tiernan on Daisha today, Anne says her son is physically okay but disturbed by what happened.
It's going to take a long time for him to get over this. Like, he was aware of the shooting that happened just after Christmas. So to have that image in his head of his friend being shot, of him being shot, it's going to take an awful long time for him to get over this.
Sinn Féin councillor Jim Griffin says antisocial behaviour has escalated in the area.
I've spoken to the Gardaí, yes, and I'm pretty sure in the near future we'd probably have a major public meeting up in the area with the residents, probably of Ardcloone and Mount Sure again. Now, we only had one back as far as 8 weeks ago, just 2 weeks prior to the shooting, and we had great involvement with the community Gardaí in there, and they told us that they'd up the ante on the amount of presence they have in there, and they have had extra presence there. But I think now we need joined up thinking for more than just the Gardaí.
University Hospital Waterford says it can only comment on confirmed cases of coronavirus. The News and Star reports that a patient who recently returned from China was brought to UHW yesterday afternoon after presenting to a GP with a high temperature and coughing. Grace Rothwell, the General Manager of University Hospital Waterford, says they're prepared for any cases of the virus.
With the coronavirus and the preparedness for that and the general, I suppose, the anxiety that would come with this. There's a lot of work ongoing in the background, but we would be as prepared as we possibly can be for that. A
number of Irish people on board two cruise ships have been hit by coronavirus. More than 400 people have tested positive for the virus on board the Diamond Princess, which has been quarantined in Japan for 2 weeks. There are also Irish nationals on board a second cruise ship, the Westerdam in Cambodia, where the illness has also been detected. The Department of Foreign Affairs says it's liaising with EU partners and the relevant health authorities concerning the best course of action for the Irish people affected. Dr. Cillian de Gascoon, Director of the National Virus Reference Laboratory at UCD, says the government is faced with a tough decision.
In an ideal world, if you have an outbreak situation, you don't really want to remove people from that outbreak scenario because, as you said, you do run the risk of bringing the infection or exporting the infection to a country that is otherwise uninfected. But equally, we have to do what's in the best interest of the individual and also of the adjacent country.
Meanwhile, the Chinese community in Ireland says people are avoiding Chinese businesses due to the coronavirus outbreak. Commercial Director of the Asia Market in Dublin says there's been a major drop in business.
Like, we would deal with a lot of businesses. We supply Asian goods to restaurants and takeaways, and they have reported a slight decline, actually not just a slight, it's actually 50 to 60% in decline.
Alan Kelly has been formally nominated to contest the Labour leadership. The Tipperary TD is hoping to replace Brendan Howlin. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
Should have got a bigger room.
It was a far cry from 2016 when Alan Kelly couldn't even get a nomination to run for the Labour leadership. In a packed room in Boswell's Hotel, he announced his intention to run to replace Brendan Howlin. Two TDs, Sean Sherlock and Duncan Smith, nominated him, while former TDs and influential party members Jan O'Sullivan and Willie Penrose are also backing Kelly. He says a complete rebuild of the Labour Party is needed.
I think really it's through performance. It's going to be through performance, work ethic and pushing the issues that we know that the public want.
Jed Nash has announced that he won't run, leaving only Eoin O'Riordan as a potential challenger to Alan Kelly. Elsewhere today, the shadow boxing of government formation continues. The Social Democrats cancelled a meeting with Fine Gael, saying that Leo Varadkar's party is only playing games, while Eamon Ryan's parliamentary party are meeting again, with the Greens still open to talking to anyone, and Catherine Martin, their deputy leader, saying that people need to woman up and start talking. Sean Defoe, Leinster House.
People Before Profit have criticised a proposal to build a high-rise apartment block on the vacant site of the former Ryan's pub in Ballybeg in Waterford City. Una Dunphy says the plan to build 45 units on the site is unsuitable and ignores the concerns of residents on the impact it will have on the estate. She says consultation with residents is essential.
Up to now it was earmarked for less than that and for 3 stories. The community have just contacted us with their concerns. They've made submissions with regard to the project. Now, this isn't against development. Everybody wants to see the Ryan site developed. I suppose the concern is that it's going to put so many high-density apartments into the area where people in Ballybeg for years have tried to develop how the area is seen and perceived by others around, and they feel that this could be a negative step.
80,000 more people were employed in 2019 compared to the previous year. Employment went up by 3.5%, with unemployment falling by over 18,000 in the same period, according to new CSO figures. All regions saw growth in employment, with the ICT and financial sectors seeing the biggest increases. CSO Jim Dalton from the CSO says there's scope for more people to enter the labour force as well.
Overall, whilst we have record numbers of people in employment, which you'd expect with a higher population, the participation rate of people in the labour force is about 4 percentage points lower than it was in the 2006-2007 period. So there's possibly more scope for people coming back into the labour force.
The local authority in Waterford is banning all single-use plastics from council buildings and events. Councillors voted in favour of the policy, which will eliminate any plastic that's made for temporary use. Labour's Seamus Ryan would like to see a wider ban brought in for all businesses.
This is a small step in banning single-use plastics, and I think it's something we should be doing. I think this document doesn't go far enough. It should go into that area of here, at least here in the city centre, that we move towards the banning of single-use plastics, as they've done. I think it was Dunleary, I think I read in the paper, have done that, and they brought in punitive sanctions against people who are blatantly abusing that.
But Fergus Galvin, Director of Services for Environment, says it's not possible.
This council does not have the authority to legislate for a global restriction on single-use plastics across the city or the county of Waterford. Not alone don't we have the capacity to legislate for it, we wouldn't have the capacity to enforce it either. But what is happening, I suppose, and just to be very clear on this, there is an EU directive on single-use plastics, and nationally the government will be obliged to introduce a ban on single-use plastics, I think by July 2021, I think is the end date. So sometime within the next year and a half, there will be a national policy in relation to this.
WLR Sport. With thanks to the Waterford Viking Marathon. Register now at waterfordvikingmarathon.com.
The Waterford football manager says they're determined to finish the second half of the league campaign strongly. The Daisha returned to action on Saturday with a trip to Sligo for round 4. Daisha boss Benji Whelan says the squad will continue to work hard.
We just need to brush up on the simple things and really concentrate a little bit more when we're in situ. We tend to be thinking that step ahead, and that catches us on occasions. And look, I mean, the more football these boys play, the better they get. And you know, I suppose if we can show the commitment and the desire that we showed in that second half there today, and put the basics with it, you know, look, we're going places then.
Throw-in Markovich Park on Saturday is at 2 p.m. Now to rugby, England will be without Mako Vinopola for Sunday's Six Nations clash with Ireland at Twickenham. The Saracens' loose head prop has been released from the squad to allow him to travel to Tonga for family reasons. Manu Tuilagi and Henry Slade are both back after recovering from injury. Liverpool can take another step towards their successful defence of the Champions League this evening. The holders start their knockout stage campaign with the first leg of their last 16 tie away to Atletico Madrid. Manager Jurgen Klopp knows they're in for a tough night in Spain.
I would say playing Atletico is one of the most difficult things in the life of a football player. Really good organised, a result machine. squeezing results pretty much out of each game if possible, yes.
In tonight's other game, Borussia Dortmund host reigning French champions PSG. Both matches kick off at 8 p.m. Sports news on WLR is thanks to WaterfordVikingMarathon.com.